I'm with the GTTF, Gun Terminology Task Force, as you can see right here. There's been reports of a heinous crime being committed here. As you can see, I'm Officer Agazine, and I cannot believe my ears what I have heard. I heard you've been calling magazines clips under state law, federal law. That ain't gonna fly. Now how about I put some silver bracelets on them pretty little wrists of yours and take you downtown for a little ride? Because this is the most heinous of crimes. Hey guys, Short Stack Survival here, and today we're going to talk about gun terminology or nomenclature, specifically as it relates to pistols. It's going to be a pretty quick video, so let's get right to it. Okay guys, I just want to talk about revolvers real quick. Here on the table there's two different types. Here we have a double action and a single action, and the difference between the two is what happens, how many actions are performed when you pull the trigger. So in the case of this one pull of the trigger cocks the hammer and then also fires. So once again, two actions, cocking the trigger and firing the pistol. Whereas this one, you can pull all day on the trigger and nothing's going to happen because it's a single action. You actually have to cock the trigger yourself and then pull the trigger. This is a rimfire, so I'm not going to let the hammer fall on its own. So that's the difference between double action and a single action revolver. Secondly, there is no magazine like there is on a commonly found semi-automatic pistol, like we'll talk about here in a minute. So in terms of this revolver, you have the cylinder and it spins here, and each one of these is its own chamber, and that's where the ammunition goes. And when you're done shooting, you have the ejector rod, and you push that, and that pushes out the spent casing. In the case of this single action revolver, the cylinder actually doesn't pop out like the other revolver. You actually have to load each round individually through this little port here into the chamber. So I hope that clears up a few questions that you have about revolvers. They're still essentially the same, just the fact that they're hammer fired, whether they're double or single action, and the fact that they don't have magazines but they have cylinders are the primary differences between revolvers and semi-automatic pistols that you are probably more familiar with. With every pistol, typically you get a, let me see if I can do this upside down, you get a manual with the firearm, and a lot of times they'll even include nomenclature that you can familiarize yourself with, and so that's what we're going to go over today. So on a semi-automatic handgun or pistol, there's a striker pin that runs through the body of the slide, and when you pull the trigger, that spring tension is released and the firing pin engages the primer of the ammunition. So on a striker fired pistol, when you pull the trigger, the firing pin moves in this channel here back and forth, and so This engages the primer and goes through here. So that's a little bit different on a striker fired pistol versus a hammer fired.
This is the rear sight, and let's see if we can line it up. This is the front sight, and that's typically how you line it up. Put the ball in the basket.
This is a Glock 17 field stripped. Here we have the magazine, the frame, spring and guide rod. We have the barrel, and we have the slide. With the magazine, you have the follower, and then you have the feed lips. The feed lips are right here on either side of the top of the magazine. You also have the body of the magazine and the base plate. On the frame we have the accessory rail, we have the trigger guard, we have the trigger, we have the grip. This is where the back strap is that leads to the beaver tail, the magazine well. We have the magazine catch. We have the slide stop lever. We have the slide lock. We have the ejector. Here we have the recoil spring and guide rod. We have the barrel. This is the muzzle end. This is the chamber. These are the lugs. This is the feed ramp. This is the hood, the flat top part. On the slide we have the firing pin channel, the extractor claw, the breech face, the slide rail cuts, the firing pin lug, the firing pin safety. Here we have the extractor. So real quick, I know we already talked about the Glock, very, very common pistol. This one here, the Smith & Wesson M&P 2.0. It has a little bit different takedown, so you still have all the other components. The difference being is that this model has a takedown lever, and so you only find that on one side of the firearm. So as you can see on this side you have the slide stop. Here this is an ambidextrous design. Here you've got your magazine catch or release. You can change it to be ambidextrous, but on here in order to disassemble the pistol, field strip it, it has a takedown lever instead of on the Glock you have a little tab on either side. Just know that there are little nuances here and there that you'll want to familiarize yourself with, and of course you can always find that information online or in the manual that comes with your firearm when you purchase it. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section below. Go ahead and give me a like if you enjoyed this video, found it informative and entertaining, and go ahead and subscribe if you don't want to miss out on any future videos.